go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. So there we go, and share, fingers crossed. There we go. I can see Jess. Jess, can you see my screen? Yeah, awesome. Just move this down to the bottom. There we go. So last week, we talked all about Facebook. We talked about all the different ads and different bits and pieces and things that we can do. So I thought we'd just do a quick recap on that. So last week, Nick talked about the 3 types of Facebook ads. So he talked about one with a video. So the video type ad, that's where you post a video out on a Facebook ad. And we found that videos are one of the best media that you can use at the moment, because when you're scrolling through Facebook, people tend to not want to read the text. So if you've got a video, where I did a video the other day and I had my Pomeranian in the video and we had like thousands of views on it. So it was just fab. So anything that you can do to attract attention at the moment, if you're doing, because of COVID, I know, I'm sorry, I said the dreaded word again. Because of COVID, we're having to wear lots of PPE and things. So, and because we're in lockdown again, quite a lot of centres that we've seen and we've done ourselves is maybe do a centre tour video. So what you can do is deck yourselves out in all your PPE gear, put a little video out there on Facebook and just reassure people that you're COVID safe and they can see you in the PPE gear as well. And also it's a friendly face. The more times that they've seen you and the more times that they've interacted with you, the more likely they are to want to book in. Let me just go back a sec. The next one is a PPE, so that's paid post engagement. So that is where you do a normal Facebook post. I'm going to show you an example of that in a moment. And that is where you just do a normal Facebook post and then you promote it out to, you can target your local areas. So last week, Nick talked about focusing on, he told you how to use drop pins. What I will do is I will send out a recording to everyone who's on the call tonight. I'll also upload it to the Thinkific site as well, so you've got access to it all the time. So if you want to rewatch the video, you can do. But when Nick talked about the drop pins, where you can target specific people, that's a really good thing to do for your paid post ads. So I've got an example of that I've actually set up today. So one of the things that we like to do around this time of year is we do a big hamper Christmas giveaway. We found that the more people that engage with the post, more people see it. It kind of has a snowball effect. And this is one of the reasons why our Facebook page has got quite a lot of likes now, which is amazing. So this post, we literally put it out earlier on today, and I think it was 3 hours ago. And already we have got 74 comments, 68 shares, and 95 likes. So you can invite all those people to like your Facebook page. Now, they might not necessarily be in your local area, but that doesn't matter because they might know somebody who's in that local area. What we do for this post, I haven't done it with this post yet, so that is completely organic. We haven't done any paid post engagement on this. So for this, what I will be doing tomorrow is I will put some money on this for an advert and I'll set it up just like Nick did last week. And for this, I'll target people in Bury. So people, this is like one touch that they'll have seen with us. They might have seen our other hampers that they've given away. And then what I can do is I can use a retargeting ad that Nick was talking about to target people who live in Bury, who've seen our Christmas hamper and liked and shared this post, and we can send them a Black Friday offer. So that's what we're building up to. And the last type of Facebook ad that Nick talked about was the carousel type ads. These work quite well as well. It's where you have 4 or 5 pictures. What we found is working really well at the moment is to have pictures of the team on there. So have some people being adjusted and try and swap up the people in your pictures as well. So you could have male and a male, female and a female, male and a female. Just so that you're hitting all different types of market really. And as well, making sure that you're in full PPE. We have our front receptionists, their little wavy faces because they can't smile on our ads, and that's worked really well as well. So all last week, that was all about Facebook. That was actually getting people to click on your ad. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about this week is I want to talk about something called lifetime value. Now, I did touch on this when we did our first free webinar. So your lifetime value is made up of two pieces of information, okay? So your first piece of information you need to know is your average visit spend. So what your average visit spend, it's not the cost of your visits that you have. So say, for example, if you're an IDD centre, if it was £90 a visit, or say if you were a chiro or an osteopath and your visits were £45, that is not what your average visit spend is. That's what the cost of your appointments are. So your average visit spend, how you work this out is you choose a set period of time. What we tend to do is we do this weekly. So we have a weekly coach and we share all these stats. Everyone in the centre knows these because it's really important. And as part of the marketing team, I need to know these stats so I can look at how to budget and look at our marketing and see how well it's working. So to work out your average visit spend, choose an amount of time, say for a week, and you need to have a look at how much income you've got for that week. So say if you've made £10,000 that week, what you then do is you look at how many visits you've had. So that has to include everything. So if you do x-rays as a separate appointment, if you have a massage therapist, IDD appointments, new patient consultations, report of findings, everything, and divide the amount of your income by that number of visits that week. And that will give you your average visit spend. Now, this number can be really scary. And a few people in their head might be like, oh yeah, well, I think roughly mine's about 42. Go and work it out. If this is the only thing that you take from this call, go and find out your average visit spend. Because if you don't know that, then it's not going to help you to grow your business. But again, we have worked with centres that didn't have a clue about their lifetime value, average visit spend or anything. Wendy and Alicia are fab. They've, as I said last week, I used to be a primary school teacher. I knew nothing about this. And Wendy and Alicia have got me to the point where I know this like the back of my hand. So it's awesome. So that's what your average visit spend is. So your PVA, this is your patient visit average. So this again isn't the length of your recommended course of care. So for example, if you were an IDD practitioner, you might have a protocol of 20 visits, you might have a protocol of 10 visits. If you're a chiro or an osteo, you might recommend 36, 12, 24. That's not what your PVA is. Your PVA is how long a guest stays with you before they drop out of care. And again, this is one of those awful stats that you might not want to find out, but it is really, really, really important that you do. We have found that if you track stats, then it's called Pearson's Law. The more that you track stats, the more that they improve. In our sense, we call it shining a light on mushrooms. So if you find a bad stat, it's really exciting and it's really good because it means that you know where you are. And that's the first part in improving, because if you don't know how to solve it. So what I've got here is I've got some calculations for you. So if your average visit spend is 40 and your PVA is 12, then your lifetime value is £480. So each new patient that you get through the door is worth £480 to you. Okay. Another calculation here, if your average visit spend is slightly higher and is 45 and your PVA is 18, then your lifetime value would be £810. So this is why it's really important to know these stats, because when we run our Facebook ads, as Nick mentioned last week, you can get some leads. As at the moment, we were getting leads roughly about £2 for a new lead to come into us, whereas before lockdown, it could be as much as £20 a lead, £30 a lead. So if I said to you, if you give me £2, I'll give you £810. Who thinks that's a good deal? Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So if you know your lifetime value spend of your guests, then you know roughly how much you can spend on Facebook and how much you can spend to get them to come into the centre. Now, there's two more stats that I've got. Oops, let me just go back a second. There's two more stats I've got here. So cost per lead. So as Nick said last week, that is how much it costs them to get them on to click on your ad on Facebook. So you've got that lead. Now, cost per new patient is slightly different. That is how much it costs to get them to actually come into the centre. Now, when we work this out, we have to account in for things like how much it costs to have someone to call them up on the telephone, how much if we sent them a welcome pack through the post. We add all those things in to our cost per new patient. So our cost per lead might be £2, but our cost per new patient might be slightly higher because you've got to account in for your postage costs and paying your team to call them and things like that. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, this is a freebie that we're going to give you. This is really, really fab. So when I do my coaching and for our Done For You service, we use this planner. And again, I can send this all out to you. We recommend on Facebook that you do 6 ads a year. So if you can do a minimum of 6 big ads. So we do things Christmas, New Year, New You, Valentine's Day, summer holidays. We also do Easter, Halloween. So it's your big type holidays. So what we have got here is we've split it up into 6 little campaigns. And here we always talk about in our centre that there's 3 parts of any campaign. Okay, so you've got the Facebook side of things, you've got the promotions that you can do in the centre, and then you've also got a reactivation element. So I'm going to talk about the Facebook side of things first. So on Facebook, your ad budget here, this would be how much you're thinking of spending on Facebook. So roughly for us, when we are doing an in-house screening or anything, an in-house talk or anything like that, we roughly budget between £200 and £300. Now, this is where it's important why I talk about your lifetime value, because if you know that your lifetime value is £800, all you need is one person to convert from your ad and you've paid for itself. So that's why we say it's really important to know. So you have your ad budget, your offer price. Now, this is important because you need to know what your offer is that you're offering them on Facebook. So for Black Friday, we're doing a ridiculously low deal. It's the lowest offer that we have ever done. But we wouldn't necessarily do that for all the campaigns. So that is why we've got it on here. So for different campaigns, we recommend using different promos. So you might, for one campaign, you might want to do a half price consultation. For another campaign, you might want to do a buy one, get one free. That one worked really, really well for our Father's Day. Quite a lot of wives bought them for the husbands, or mums bought them for the sons, and then they came along as well. So we got, I think in the end, we got over 80 leads, but we only actually got 40 leads from Facebook because they were all buy one, get one free. You can, if you have in your centre, if you do x-rays, you might want to include x-rays, you might not want to include x-rays. So it's important to make sure that your offers are slightly different, because if you are targeting the same area, people won't want to see the same offer over and over again. It just mixes it up a little bit. So the run date is also important. The run date is how long you want it to run for. So if you are having a Halloween campaign, don't start it on Halloween. I would start it before. In our centre, I love Halloween. Our Halloween decorations went up on the 1st of October. And we actually started our spooky celebrations online on the 1st of October. We ran our Facebook ads from the 10th all the way up to the 30th. So that was when our run date was. And this little bit at the bottom here, when it says, what does it include? Now, you might want to mix it up. So you might want to, we're really lucky to have our own orthotics scanner. So some promotions we throw in a free orthotic scan. You might want to throw in a buy one get one free consultation. You could do it's just what it includes, and it also makes it important for your team as well. So we do a weekly bulletin, and we tell all our chiropractic assistants, everyone on the front desk, all the DCs, everybody knows what promo is running at that moment in time, because as you can imagine, if you're a DC and you're really, really busy and you've got loads of new patients and they've all got different offers, some have come from Facebook, some have come from a referral, they all have different prices. So our DCs have a really clear idea, right? This new patient is for £32 and they still have to pay for their x-rays. So when they're talking to the guests, they know exactly what it includes. And we also give this planner to all our team as well, so they know exactly when everything's happening. So that's the Facebook side of things. So an internal promotion, that is something that you can do in the centre that will help promote people giving referrals. For example, for Halloween, we have a big giant spinner, and it's a bit like spin the wheel, and you can spin it. And we had 4 prizes. So prize 1 was a bag of sweets. Prize 2 was a half price consultation for a friend or family member. The other one was a free massage. And the last one was a gift certificate. So it was a free consultation for friends or family members. And every single person that came in, because of COVID, we were spinning it for them. Normally we get them to spin the wheel, but that internal part of the campaign is really important. So you've got your new leads coming in from Facebook, but you've also got your guests who are your biggest fans. They are giving referral vouchers out to friends and family members. So they'll always have good things to say about you. So that's why it's important to have an internal part of your campaign as well. Now, the third part of your campaign is a reactivation campaign. So this is going back and looking at different people who have dropped out of care for any reason at all. Now, we target different people, and what I might necessarily send to someone who only had a ROF, new patient ROF and 3 adjustments might be something very different to someone who had 36 adjustments before they dropped out of care. So you need to be thinking very carefully when you're reactivating who you want to reactivate and how. So our reactivation campaign that we've got coming up for Christmas, we are doing scratch cards. So for our high spenders, so people who've spent over £1,000 with us who have dropped out of care, we're sending them a scratch card that's got a money off voucher. We're following it up with telephone calls, text messages, emails, and extra things in the post as well. So just to try and get them to come back into the centre. And as long as you make sure that all of your campaigns have those 3 elements in them, then you'll be absolutely fab. So yeah, this is our campaign planner. I can send that out to you. So we send this through Practice Hub. It gets sent by an online link, and they can do it on the phone, and they can do it on a tablet, and it automatically updates their system. So the first question is, what is your reason for wanting a spine and posture check? Some people for this question say, oh, I've had a bad back for 20 years, my back's finally gone, I'm in lots of pain, I want help. Other people will say something as simple as, I just want to know what my spine looks like, or I feel like I've got a funny hump here, or I'm just curious about what a chiropractor does. And that is really important. Straight away, you can gauge where your guest is, whether they're ready to come in for a consult, or that question is really, really important. So the next question is, what symptoms are you struggling with? So neck pain, lower back pain, sciatica, etc. Some people for this question, I'm going to show you an example of one of our questionnaires that's been filled out. Some people will write a whole essay. They'll write War and Peace. They'll write everything on there, which is really, really good, because the more information that they give us, the better. Some people will just put lower back pain. headaches, migraines. So that doesn't really tell you much, but it gives you a starting point because that's all that we're after. The whole point of this questionnaire isn't just to get information, it's to give them another hoop to jump through, but it's to also put them in the correct mindset of where they need to be. So it allows them to understand how important their own health is to them. So, which leads me to the next question, which says, when was the first time you ever noticed these symptoms? Now, how many people, when you're sat in your new patient consult, you sat there and say, how long have you had the pain for? And they'll go, oh, I've only had it a week. Who's ever had that? Yeah, thank you. Some people most people minimize what has happened or has minimized their symptoms because they've had it for 20 odd years. They're used to it, but they don't realize that even though it's normal, even though it's common, it's not normal to have back pain like that. So what we are doing is we're trying to move the goalposts. So somebody filled in on one of my screening questionnaires last week. They said, I've had it, my back went at the gym last week. So when I actually spoke to her about it, her back went 8 years previously and she'd been in a really bad car crash, but she'd completely forgotten about that. So if you ask them, when was the first time you ever noticed these symptoms? It's not, what are you struggling with now? It's when is the first time. You've instantly moved the goalposts in their head that, oh, I want a spine check because my back went last week. When you say to them, when's the first time you've ever noticed these symptoms? They'll go, oh, well, actually, 8 years ago. You've moved the goalposts from here back to 8 years, which is good. Then again, is there any pain? What does it feel like? Burning, stabbing, stinging? Does it radiate down the legs? Again, how often the pain is there. The pain scale is really good. We use this in our new patient questionnaires. So on your pain scale, when it's at its worst from 0 to 10, and then we also do it and when it's at its best, so your good days and your bad days. Have you ever seen anyone else about this? This is a good question to ask. Some people who we've seen before have seen a chiropractor before, they've had one adjustment and then they feel great now and that's all they want to come in for, or they've been to the GP, they've had MRIs, and yeah, so who have they been? They might have seen a massage therapist, but it's good to know who they have seen before so you know where to start your discussion with them. So what helps your symptoms? Some guests talk about medication, they talk about stretches, they talk about ice, they talk about heat. What makes your symptoms worse? Have you had any motor vehicle accidents? Some people will just go, yes. Just yes on there. They won't tell you when, where, how, or what, but that's okay because that gives us a starting point to talk to them when we do the next step. Have you had any trips or falls or operations? And this end question, we call this the health aim. So your health aim is the most important thing. So everybody has a reason for wanting to get better. People will put up with pain and they'll put up with, symptoms until it gets to a point where it stops them doing something that they absolutely love. Some guests, it might be they can't play golf. They can't get in the car because their sciatica is so bad and they can't go and visit their grandkids. They can't go on holiday. They can't go to the gym. This end question is the thing that is stopping, that their pain and the symptoms are stopping them doing. And if we could get rid of that pain, what they would get back to doing. So that's their health aim. That's the most important thing. So here I've got a really badly filled out questionnaire. So we've got a sore back, lower back. It started last week. Pain in the hips when I move. Pain scale of 6 and 3. Never been to a chiropractor. What helps? Back cracking. What makes it worse? Unsure sitting. Have you had any motor vehicle accidents? Yes. Have you had any trips or falls? No. And they want to get back to going to the gym. So this questionnaire is then given. We have a fab team. We've got some people who are called tech CAs. So these are CAs who are trained just to get information from people on the phone. So what our chiropractic assistants do is our tech CAs do is they have a look at this questionnaire, they read it really, really carefully, and then they will make notes on what they want to ask. So, for example, one of the points that they will pick up on is last week. That is a big one that the tech CAs look at. They'll say, oh, so tell me about your symptoms last week, okay? And then they'll try and move the goalposts. Have you ever had those symptoms before? Think about the worst ever headache you've ever had. Tell me about that. What did that feel like? And then the next one that they might pick up on looking at this one is, have you had any motor vehicle accidents? Yes, tell me about that. Oh, tell me about your accident. What happened? Oh, I was hit by an Arctic lorry and I was in a coma for 6 months. All right, so it's not just minor. It's a really big car crash that could have something to do with your neck pain because you've got whiplash or something. These are just points that the tech CAs use to get more information. So for the telephone consultations, it is literally a telephone consultation. Now, we were thinking of doing it on the call, but literally we could do it for half an hour. Usually our tech CAs are on the call for half an hour. I didn't want you to just be sat watching me being on the telephone for half an hour. So what we have done is we've recorded a video and we're actually going to send it out to you guys so you can watch our tech CAs in action. You can actually hear them do a call with another member of our team role playing, and it won't be an easy call. It'll be, have you had a car crash? Yeah. And you'll be able to see the steps that they do. And I'm going to talk about those in a little bit more detail now. So the first thing when you're doing a telephone consultation is let the guest talk. Okay. The more questions that you can ask, the better. So it's been proven in studies that people who ask more questions, people are more drawn to them and they are more likely to like them and want to trust them. So if you ask them lots and lots of questions as well, that's really good. So as soon as you've got them on the phone, ask them, can you tell me a little bit more about why you want a spine and posture check? I can see here that you said that you've had back pain for a couple of years. Can you tell me more about that? And what our tech CAs do is they write everything down. And what they do is they write like the exact words. So if the guest says, oh, I've a tingling pins and needles pain down my left arm, they will write the exact language that guest uses because it's really important for one of the steps later on. So they'll let the guest talk and then they'll ask lots of questions. Can you tell me more about blah? Can you tell me about blah? Can you tell me more about your car crash that you had? You've been to see your GP and you've had an MRI. Can you tell me more about that? When they're also talking about the symptoms, one of the really good questions is there anything else? Is there anything else? And you can also, we use something called dentist noises. So you can like go, when you go to the dentist and you open your mouth and they go, you can just make little noises back to them going, because it shows that you are listening and that you care. And also empathy is a really big one. These people are going to be in lots of pain. Some of them are, and really, really struggling. And try and empathize with them, but not sympathize with them, if that makes sense. So it's understanding that they've got a problem, but not minimizing it and going, oh yeah, it's okay, don't worry, or it's only a little bit of back pain. You don't want to minimize that because in their head, you're kind of saying, oh, you don't need to come in for a consultation. You can say, oh, I can understand that it's really difficult that you've not been to see your grandchildren. That's really good. But if you said something on the lines of, yes, I can understand that you've not been able to see your grandchildren for a couple of months, but you know, you still get to see them on such and such a day. You try not to minimize the symptoms that they're giving you. So empathy, not sympathy. So when you've asked all your questions and you've got all the information using the questionnaire template, you can literally start at the top or pick your way through. We don't actually have a set script because every guest is different, and how you would talk to one guest is completely different of how we would talk to a different guest. In our centre, we talk a lot about personality types and love languages, and it's really important to think about the type of guest that you are dealing with. So when you've got all their information and you've written down everything that they've said, repeat back everything that they have said using the exact words. That's why it's important to write everything down. So Bob, you told me that you had a car crash 6 years ago. You ended up in hospital for 3 weeks. They did an MRI. They found that you fractured your L5, S2. They put you on medication for 6 weeks. Currently, you're struggling with low back pain that radiates down into your leg and it tingles and it stops you from sleeping. Is that right? And then they will say yes or no. And for me, when I've spoken to somebody, if somebody repeats back exactly the words that I've said to them, I would feel like, wow, they've actually really listened to me. So that is why you write down the exact words that they have used. This is why these telephone consultations take such a long time, just because the longer you can keep them on the phone, the more likely they are going to want to come in for a posture check, and more likely they'll want to come in for a new patient consult. Our Texiers are so good that this point here, if they feel that somebody is ready for a consultation, they will make the sale there and then. They will say, actually, I don't think a spine and posture check would be beneficial for you. From hearing from your symptoms, we'd like to offer you a half price consultation. Our consultations are usually £95, an additional £20 per x-ray. But as a special thank you for being on the phone with me today and giving me you telling me all your symptoms, we'd like to offer you today that at half price. When can I get that booked in for you? And then they'll take the 45 payment over the phone and they've booked. So this guest has gone from thinking they're having a spine and posture check to we've now got them booked in for a new patient consultation and they've not needed a posture check. Some people might need the posture check, but not everybody does. I think we've converted 7 people just straight to new patient consultations, which is just fab, which means we've got more space to see people for the free spine and posture checks. So when you have got all the information from them, we always say to our Texiers that you cannot leave the phone call without finding out some personal information about the guest. It's all about their health aim. For example, if I was speaking to Doris and Doris had a pet Pomeranian, I would be finding out, and that pet Pomeranian was her life. Her reason for wanting a spine and posture check is because she wants to get back to walking her Pomeranian. Okay? We need to know the name of that puppy. So the more information you know about her, the better. So what I would say to Doris would be, Doris, if I could wave a magic wand and take away your pain, what would be the one thing that you'd like to get back to doing? And she'd be like, walking my dog. If you know their health aim, then you've already won the new patient consult. Most people think that the problem with day 1 and day 2 is day 1 and day 2, but the problem is before. If you've not put that work in beforehand, and if you've not got that health aim before they even come in, you've got no chance at the new patient consultation. And this is why our conversions have gone through the roof. So far, we do posture checks every Friday, and we've got 100% conversion rate to new patient consults for the past 4 weeks that we've been doing it. So when you're in your new patient consultation, before you make the sale, you need to know what type of person they are. So Doris, it would be, if it wouldn't matter how much it would cost to her to get her back to walking her dog. If we could wave a magic wand and get her back to walking the dog, that would be fine. Whereas in a new patient consultation with someone who's a construction worker, for example, just use this as an example, I would be talking about him wanting to work for longer. That's his end goal. So if I know that when we're doing the new patient consultation, I would talk very different to him. I would be saying things like, so how many sick days did you have last year? Oh, right, so you had 10 sick days. So roughly you earn about £100 a day. So you've lost £1,000 last year. Right, okay. So say if your back is only going to get worse and you're off, save the same amount of time for the next 20 years, that's £20,000. You've already set in his brain or her brain that, you know, they're going to be losing £20,000 worth of wage. So when you say to them, oh, our care plan, we've recommended 24 visits, it's going to be £2,000. When they hear that £2,000, it sounds so much better than the 20,000. So getting their health in is the main goal of the telephone consultation that we've got here. So what I will do is I'll have a look at all the questions at the end. So when they have had the telephone consultation, we've got all the information, the next thing is follow-up, reminders. So you cannot send too many reminders. We send text messages, we send emails, we phone them, even though we've already spoken to them on the phone, we phone them the night before to ask if they've got any questions. So even though they've done about 5 hoops already, we still ring them all the night before. Hi, Bob, have you got any questions about your spine and posture check tomorrow? No, excellent. Do you know where we are? We've got parking out the front. Excellent. Yes, you can bring your friend, you can bring your brother with you as long as they're in your bubble. Yes, we are COVID safe. You will have to check in when you come. So they've any questions, any doubts, anything that they're worried about, you've already sorted in their mind. We also send Loom videos. So I'm just going to quickly pop out of my screen and I'm just going to show you something called Loom. So Loom is a really good little tool. It's completely free. And what you can do with Loom, can you see here, it pops up a little window in the corner here. And this allows you to record a little video. Now, I can't record it while I'm on Zoom because it will kick me off Zoom. But all you do is click start recording. And what it does is it takes you to, when you've recorded your video, it will take you to a bank of videos. So these are my videos that I've recorded for our guests tomorrow who are coming in. And you just click copy link. And it's literally just a little link that you can send via text message. You can send it via email. Your videos can be up to 5 minutes long, but it's just a quick, simple video that you can send. It just makes them feel a bit special. And we always say, make sure that you say the name. So, hi, Bob. We're really looking forward to coming in for your new patient consultation or your posture check, whatever you're saying. We've got you booked in at such and such with me. We're really looking forward to seeing you. If you can get the person who's doing the posture check to do the Loom, that's a ninja move. They've already seen the person that they are going to be seeing, or you can get the tech CAs or whoever's done the telephone consultations to do the Loom video. We found that's worked well as well. So they've already spoken to them on the phone. They've had a Loom video, and then the first person that they see when they come through the door is that tech CA. So straight away, oh, hi Doris. Oh, how's Shibby getting on? Straight away, the tension, their worries, they've seen a familiar face, are completely gone. So yeah, doing the Loom videos is a ninja move, but make sure that you say the name. So if I go back to smooth that up here. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the goodie bag. So whenever anybody comes in for a spine or a posture check, we have something called a goodie bag. We have, what I will do is I will bring one with me next week, because that's part I'll explain, because there's something in the goodie bag that I want to show you that's really important. But the goodie bag is just full of pens, fun things, and it's also got a voucher in there, which is really, really important. And that's what you need when you are doing your spine and posture check. But again, we'll talk about that all next week. The reason why I talk about the goodie bag now is mention it everywhere. So in your copy on Facebook, when you're talking about spine and posture checks, put in there free goodie bag to all who attend. On your Eventbrite, put free goodie bag to all that attend. When you're doing your consultations over the phone, say to them, oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, Bob. I'm just going to sort out your goodie bag now for you. So if you were having a party and I said to you, if I was having a party and I said to you, Doris, I've got a bag for you. It's got your name engraved on it. I've got a cup for you that's diamond encrusted with your names on it. I've got your party hat and everything. You're going to be coming to that party. So if they know that you've already got them a goodie bag, we actually write their names on the goodie bags as well, so they feel ultra special. So the goodie bag is really important, and make sure you put that on all of your text reminders. You put it on your phone and on your Loom video as well. Even on your Loom video, you can even hold up the goodie bag. That's a really good one. Say, oh, hi Doris, I've just made your goodie bag for you. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll see you at 9 o'clock. Thanks, bye. So I'm sorry that was a quick whistle stop tour. So what we've looked at today is we've looked at Eventbrite. We've looked up exactly how to set up Eventbrite and how we use it to make sure that we get all the information that we need. We've also talked about how to set up Calendly and use that as a booking system that people can choose their time slots. We've also talked about the Loom videos and how we record a Loom video that gets sent to them. And we've also talked about the telephone consultations. What I will do for you is I will get that recording ready for you to get sent out to you, so you can actually see a 30-minute telephone consultation that we do, where you get all the information that you need from the guest. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down to the chat and have a look. Yep. So I've got Chris saying it's not free. Is that for the Calendly, Chris? Is Chris still with us? Let me just have a look. Oh, I think he might have bobbed out for a bit. So do we send to, yes, so we send all our new patients a Use Loom video. So every single day, even if we've got, I think tomorrow we've got 12 new patients, I sat and did 12 Loom videos before I came on the call tonight. How many screenings a week do we do? So we have started something new. So every single guest that calls up and asks for a consultation now, rather than just booking them straight in for a consultation, what we do is we book them in for a screening. So we just do screenings every single Friday now. Every single Friday, we just do a screening and they go through all of these steps. So they have to have a questionnaire filled out, they have a telephone consult, they have a Loom video, they have all that. Then they come in on a Friday, they get screened with one of our teams, and then they book in for a new patient consultation. Do you bonus to Texiers? We do. So for the Texiers, Jack, what we do is we pay them a standard basic wage, but then depending on their conversion rates, then we bonus them. basically. So it gives them more of an incentive. So the higher their conversion rates on their screenings, they pay. Currently at the moment, I think they get a bonus if they get over 80% of screenings. Is Lynn available on Apple and Android? Yes, you can have it on iPhone. It works on your phone. You can do it on Apple desktop. You can do it on Android. All our DCs have Apple iPads. So during lockdown, they were recording Loom videos and sending them all out to the members that couldn't come in. Just a nice little touch. We use Loom for absolutely everything. So has anybody else got any more questions about anything that we've covered tonight? With the questionnaire, it's easy download for each client from Eventbrite. So we send our questionnaire via Practice Hub. So what we do on Practice Hub is we've got a form made on Practice Hub and it gets sent to them via our booking system. So it's all automatic. But what you could do is if you wanted to know more about questionnaires and things like that, what you can do is, if you wanted to, at the end of our course, jump on a call with myself or Wendy and Alicia, and we can see how we can help support you a little bit better and how we can get you to maybe integrate a questionnaire into your system. Awesome. So good luck with all your in-house screenings. But next week, we're going to be doing the actual how to screen. So from the moment they come in the door to getting them to book in. So we're going to teach you exactly, we're going to show you exactly what we do, what we say, and how we screen. It's some really simple tests. I'm not a chiropractor. All our team that do our screenings now are not chiropractors. We found that our chiropractors were overcomplicating it. Most people, when you speak to them or explain things, we kind of aim over their heads, and the more information that you give them, you tend to lose them. So keeping it at like a year 5 or year 6 level, so like 10, 11 aged language is perfect. So that's what we're going to go through next week. And what I'll do is I'll put copies of the call, and I will also put copies of this video, of this tonight and last week's, onto our training portal for you all. So thank you so much. Last thing before we go, everyone arms in the air. Sorry, it's my primary school teacher showing now. And give yourself a big pat on the back. I'm sorry it's been a long one. I'm sorry it's been quite quick, but you've all done amazing. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely week. And we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.